shlokas. Let's see. Give me a minute. Somebody is trying to reach me. Okay. Shriyan will do the Pratna shlokas. Yeah.
Sir, I only know one sir, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu.
You only know Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. Who knows all the three? Shriyamsini.
Sir, only in Vakratunda Mahakaya, is it Surya Koti or Koti Surya Samaprabha, sir?
Both are there. That is what is called Patha Beda.
Okay.
You can do it both. Both are accepted.
Okay. Sir, I got it.
Yeah, please do.
Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarva Karyeshu Sarvada Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Uttama. Thank you. Okay. Now, what did we all learn in yesterday's Pooja Madam's class? Who wants to start? I want each one of you to tell me what is it that you learned in Pooja Madam's class. So first we'll start with Adikshit because Adikshit is going to leave early.
Sir, we learned that we did the activity of the 6 circles and the 2 circles and we even did 20 things we should tell to our a special new friend or a friend.
Okay. Then, okay. 20 things. Okay. Now that is fine. We will stop here. Shriyan wants to say something. Shriyan had a very puzzling look when we were talking. Yes.
Sir, I heard that what should we tell to the friends? I got puzzled about that. I'm trying to remember. Sir, we also learned about the 3 selves of us, which are material, social, and inner self of us.
Material, social, and inner self. Very good. Okay, then.
Sir, and also we learned about psychiatrist. Was that a type of doctor, sir? I don't remember his name. From 1945 or something.
Okay, no problem. What else did you learn?
Sir,
somebody else will tell that name. Don't worry. Okay. Then who else? Vishrut was raising his hand.
Sir, yesterday Pooja ma'am taught us basically how to define who you are.
Activities define who you are. Very good. So there were 2 things. One, we all learned about. There are 3 things. One is the material self, the social self, and the inner self. Our activities define who we are. Okay. Then, before Adikshit, I'll go to Pranav once.
Sir, and then we didn't do this, but then we had to write it down on like that, and then we had to write down things that we could help ourselves with.
How we can help ourselves? Very important. How is it that we can help ourselves? So first, three types of selves. Then we saw that what are the kind of our activities define ourselves? How can we help ourselves? Correct? And we start with how we can help ourselves. Correct? Yeah. Athar.
Sir, like Pooja ma'am told us, like when somebody asks, like nobody asked, but who are you? Then ma'am told like how we can define ourselves, and then
So you define yourself now for me. How
sir,
do you define yourself?
my name is Athar. I go to Sudarshan Vidya Mandir School. I am kind of kind. I'm strong and I'm a little naughty and sometimes. And my hobbies are playing badminton, playing board games with my friends, watching TV.
Is that your material self? Is that your inner self? Is that your social self?
Sir, my hobbies is my social self, I think. And then playing with my friends and our board games is my material self.
Is your material self. Then where is your inner self?
And,
How do you define your inner self? Okay, we'll come back to that question. That's a very deep question. Fine. Then we will go to who is there? Neil. Neil and Anisha.
Actually, sir, I wasn't there during
Oh, you
the
were
class.
in there. No worries. No worries. That's fine. Okay, we'll skip that. Anisha. You're on mute, Anisha. Anisha, you there? Okay, probably she's having some difficulty. Okay, now we'll come back to Sri Hamsini.
Sir, I have nothing much to add, sir. We just moved on with probably an energetic flow of learning who are we, like putting ourselves in a proper definition when we are presenting ourselves to someone, I guess.
So that's exactly what everybody has defined, right? So, okay, no problems, Anisha. Adikshit wanted to add something. Adikshit, you can go ahead, unmute yourself and add.
Sir, we even saw different thinking about people by an example of elephant and uses.
What can you can you recollect that example fully?
Like I remember one lady was thinking that the elephant's tail was like a rope.
Okay.
Then his trunk was like a spear.
So he thought elephant was a spear, elephant was a rope, elephant was a stand, elephant was a leg, so on and so forth. Yes, Shriya, you want to add something?
Sir, they also mentioned that the elephant was a wall.
Elephant was a
Wall.
boy.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Sir, because it's very huge and it's also strong.
It is also strong, correct. So that is exactly what happens when you see parts of the whole. WHOLE whole, not HOLE whole. The whole thing, right? Now, if I were to stand, if I were to just look at the earth all around me, would I consider the earth to be flat or would I consider the earth to be round? Flat. Anybody says, no, it is round. I can just sit in my room and I can prove that earth is round. Who can do that? Shriyamsini can do that. Okay, go
Sir,
ahead.
Bedford experiment, sir.
Huh?
Bedford experiment, sir.
Bedford experiment. Everybody else does not know. Only you know it and I know it. You have to explain what is Bedford's experiment.
Sir, it was an experiment which was conducted in the, I guess in the 6th century, when
Mhm.
in England near the Pacific, not the Pacific, yeah, near the Atlantic Ocean. So what they did is they took a hilltop, not a hilltop, a flat hilltop.
Mhm.
They placed 3 sticks, each having 3 meter, and then a 3 meter dug in. And then
Mhm.
they placed it in such a way that they were equally distanced from each other. And
Mhm.
then after that, the observators went around 3 miles away from the poles, and then they saw that the middle pole was actually taller than the other 2 poles. That's when they
Mhm.
proved that the earth was actually round and not flat. There was even another experiment, sailboat experiment, conducted in the 1970s, where in the near Spain, where they found out that the earth, when the boat was coming, like first they
Mhm.
could only see the sail of the boat, and when it came, they could
Mhm.
even see the deck, and after that they could see the whole ship. So that's how they came to know that the earth is round, just by having a glance at it.
Okay. Shriyamsini, this is all very good. But I said sitting in your room. Is your room on the Pacific front? Is your room on top of a mountain, or is your room in the middle of this sailboat? Nowhere, no. You're sitting right now, you're sitting somewhere. Looking all around you, can you just say the earth is round? No, you cannot. So the problem with this is, with any approach that we take, is we are always constrained by the limitation that we are within ourselves. We only know so much. Only when we try to think, okay, possibly there is another explanation, then we conduct these experiments. We go out and we try to explore. Just like the case of, say, in the case of the elephant example, 6 blind men trying to explain an elephant, for example. That's the same case. Do you agree, Shyamsini? Right. Only when we are able to conceive and perceive that probably this is not what I am supposed to think, I can think something different. The 6th century that you are talking about in the Pacific side, or not the Pacific, at the Atlantic side. Yeah, you're right about that. But then they did not conclude anything. They just saw that the hole was deeper, but they could not come up with any example. If you go back to Aryabhatta, for instance, he actually did not do much. What he did was he read through all the astronomical things that were around him and said, probably the earth is round. He did not say, he did not conclude it. It was only in the later, I think 9th century AD, that Kanad. I don't know if you have heard the name Kanad. Who is Kanad?
Sir, Maharishi Kanad, the person who actually discovered Paramanu or atom.
Okay, yeah, that is one aspect. But he also gave the 3 laws of motion, what we know today as the Newton's laws of motion. Today it is very well established that he established it before him. He said, you know what, the earth is not just round, the earth goes around the sun as well. If you sit on the planet Earth and look at the sun, and if nobody told you in class 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, the planetary motion will not make any sense. It'll say, you should be stupid. The sun rises up in the east, goes down in the west, so sun is going around the earth. And if you remember last time, in the first class, I showed you something about planetary motion. Did I show you something? What did I show?
Sir, the sun was moving in a straight direction, whereas the planets were rotating around it.
Okay, let me pull that up and show it all over again. Okay, I have this. So let me share the screen. Yeah, how many of you have seen this somewhere or in some, how many of you have ever visited planetarium or even for that matter, science museums? All of you have? And all of you have seen this model in some way or the other? In a glass box, they would have kept somewhere in the middle, there will be a sun, all these planets going around. Correct? Now, what will this mean? In this case, it is even more this one. This whole thing, this planet appears to be bigger than the sun itself. Correct? No, this is bigger than the sun. If I look at this, I'll assume that this is, I think this should be Jupiter. Correct? No, this will be Jupiter. Jupiter is bigger than the sun. That's what I'm going to assume for this. Is it true?
No, sir, because Jupiter is little near to the camera and like sun is little far, so then Jupiter looks big, sir.
That is why Jupiter looks big. Yeah,
Sir,
Shreya,
that is the law behind eclipses also, sir.
that is the law behind eclipses also. We know all these things from a theory. Shreya, you want to say something?
No, sir. When you told if anyone visited the planetarium, that's why I raised my hand.
Okay, that's all. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so if you look at all this, it looks there are many flaws in this model, and this is how it is shown to everybody. Correct? No. One, the flaw is that it is going in circles. Do planets go in circles around the sun? What is the orbit of the planet? Is it circular? Anybody knows?
No, sir, it's elliptical.
It is elliptical. That is right. It is not circular. It goes as an ellipse. Find out what an ellipse is. Okay. Then second question. Okay, forget that. We'll give it that. Okay, sun is probably bigger. It's due to that relative positioning of the camera. We'll give into that. Is the sun static?
No, sir.
Sun is not static. How do we know sun is not
The
static?
sun revolves around the galaxy, like
it goes around the galaxy. Now we have another term, galaxy. How do we know it goes around the galaxy?
Sir, because Milky Way galaxy on a whole has a differential color, sir, and there is actually a bright light in the middle of the galaxy, and all the systems revolving around it. So that's when we know that the sun is actually moving around the.
So yeah, unfortunately, we all live in places where there is too much of light in the night. How many of you have actually seen a clear night sky? Clear night sky with full of stars. All of you have seen? When there is no light around, when there is no street light, when there is nothing around, where it's pitch dark, no pollution, nothing. Especially it happens if you go to higher elevations. If you go to a very high hill station, which is about 3,000, 4,000 meters above mean sea level. If you go there and if you camp there in the night, of course, it's going to be cold. But yeah, if you just try to look up, you'll see very beautiful sky. When you see that, you can actually spot where you are relative to the Milky Way. Sometimes you can see the Milky Way. What is Milky Way?
Our
sir,
galaxy.
it's a galaxy.
It's our galaxy. If you see that, and over time, if you track that, you will see that the position of that Milky Way has changing. You can see a stream of Milky Way, right? And you'll see that you are not exactly in that position. Now, there are two explanations. Either the Milky Way is moving or you are moving, which is a more likely thing.
Sir, it's that you're moving.
As the latter, right? So, yeah. But again, it comes to that. You have to prove that with the experiment, which is already done. I'll give you a better model of this. I showed this in the last class as well. This is not the perfect model again. There are problems in this model as well. But this is a better model than the previous model. This is the sun, which is also moving. Then there are these planets. This is the Saturn with the ring. Okay, this one. This is the Saturn with the ring. This is the Jupiter. Then there is this Earth. There is this, etc., etc., etc. Yes, Shriyan, you want to ask something? No. Okay, fine. Anybody has any questions or anything? We'll stop this with this. We'll stop. This is not a session on planetary motion. So it is not that I'm going to get into too much of planetary motion discussion. But what I want to convey is how we can fool ourselves. Correct? This was all a sense of fooling ourselves, right? When you saw that, you believed that that was the planetary motion. We saw that the sun was rising in the east and setting in the west. We thought the sun was going all around the earth. We were fooling ourselves. We then found out, oh no, you know what? We are going around the sun. That is not the other way around. Then we figured out it should be circular. Then we said, no, it is not circular, it is elliptical. Then we said, no, sun is there. Now the sun is going to be static. Then we figured out, no, the sun is also not static. It is also moving. So that happens with ourselves also. We can be fooling ourselves in multiple ways. Are we? Can we get fooled very easily? Who wants to say I can get fooled? Nobody wants to say that. Nobody is a fool. Everybody is very intelligent. I know what I am doing. I'm perfectly right. I'm always right. When somebody says, go eat, drink your milk, it is going to be good for your health. No, I don't like milk. I don't want to drink. I know I don't like milk. I know I don't like milk. Is that a true statement? I don't like milk. How many like milk or okay, whatever you don't like, whatever that could be. Replace milk with somebody. Who does not have who will say that there is nothing in this world that I don't like? Everybody has a don't like. Let us take that as something called milk. Okay. I don't like milk. That is a fact. But is it that the milk that I don't like, or is it there something in me which is making me not like the milk? Is it the milk's mistake that I don't like it, or is it something in me that I don't like the milk? Vishwat, yes.
Sir, your inner self is telling that you don't like the thing. It is not liking it.
It is not that is not the liking you. It is not that you don't like the milk.
Sir,
Right?
and even at taste buds, sometimes if the milk like doesn't
Now we are coming to yes, Adikshit, you can go ahead. That's fine. Yeah. So you have a taste bud. Now the taste bud has something to do with not liking the milk. Is it the taste bud? Is it your tongue? Taste bud is on your tongue, no?
Yes.
Bye bye, Adikshit. Yeah. Is it the taste bud?
Sir, it could be our mind also.
It could be our mind. How do I know it's my mind?
Sir, you don't know what it could be.
It could be. He is making a very intelligent guess there.
Sir,
Okay.
preconceived notion or bias.
Preconceived notion or bias. Just like saying, there is that sun which is going around the earth. Because I observe the sun going around the earth, so I assume that I see the sun rise in the east, set in the west. So I assume that the sun is going around the earth. Simple. Very simple mistake to make, no? Similarly, there is a milk. Now, no matter what, but then there is something that tells me, I am not seeing it, but there is something, some other sense, which is telling me, no, let's not like it. It is not something good. Bitter gourd. It is bitter. Let's not like it. It is not giving me, it is not giving me that this one. Now, if somebody comes and says, No, you know what? There is so much of nutrients. There is so much of value in it. You should take it. You should eat it. Would you eat it? Vishnu, this is like, no, 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 no. Even if my mother or father says it, no, no, no. Why should I eat it? After all, what am I? What is it? It's not going to bring anything much. Right. That's exactly the problem all of us have. Now, with this context, with this in mind that we have biases, we have our own notions, we have our own conclusions based on those notions. These are all conclusions, no? Bitter God is not good for me. Why? I don't like bitter God, so it is not good for me. Very simple. It's an extension of that logic. We all said we are all logical beings, we love logic. On that basis, now can we start looking ourselves into those three categories? What we had. What were the three categories? What were the three types of self that we had? We had the material self, we had the social self, we had the inner self. Correct? Now let's redefine our three selves. Yes, Shriyan, you want to add something? You raise your hand. No. Okay. I think we have Shraddha who's joined now. Shraddha, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So did you attend yesterday's session?
Yes, sir.
You attended. So there were three types of selves that were defined yesterday. The material self, the social self, and the inner self. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I said, we can fool ourselves very easily. It's very easy to fool ourselves.
Yes.
Looking at the sun, we fooled ourselves into believing sun is going around the earth.
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, we have fooled ourselves saying, bitter God is not good for me because it is bitter. And I don't like it. We can do all these things.
Yes.
Now, what is the definition of that material self?
The physical appearance.
The physical appearance. Our bodily and physical appearance that we have. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, the bodily and physical appearance is a factual thing about all of us. We all have a body, we have a physical appearance. Right?
Yes.
Now, that body and physical appearance, is that us? Does that define us?
No, sir.
Why?
Because the physical appearance doesn't matter, but how we are from inside, our qualities define us more.
Our qualities define us. You are qualifying that with, okay, there is a physical material self, plus there is a quality associated with that self, and that defines us. Does that really define us?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can you give an example?
Like if a person is helpful, people
Okay.
would like that person because they would ask that person for help and he would help them.
Now you are saying there is something that is an inherent nature of the person, which is going to be either helping or not helping, or partially helping, whatever be the case.
Yes, sir.
Correct? And that defines us. You are saying that defines us. Okay, let's move on to Athar. He is laughing. He wants to talk something.
Sir, nothing.
You don't want to answer. You don't want to say anything. Okay, let me ask you the question then. Shraddha said that, you have some qualities and that defines us. Is that defining us?
Yes, sir. It defines like half of us, the other half of us like our facial appearance and all that. Material self.
Okay. Now, there are two concepts here. One is saying there is something that is defining us or me. Who is this me? In that I. Who am I? Question asked was, who am I?
Sir, like I am a human being.
I am a human being. Now you are attaching tags to that me. You are identifying that me through that tag. One tag is I am a human being. Okay. Then
Sir, then sir, then
you don't know. Vishrut, what else is there? I am a human being apart from that. I have some qualities.
I am a child.
You are a child. You are a human being and you are a child. Okay. So there are certain quality, as Shraddha said, I am a helpful person. I am a boy. I am a girl. I am a man. I am a woman. I like to be with different people. I like to travel. I like that place. I don't like that place. I like milk. I don't like bitter gourd. I don't like to play. I like only board games. All this is defining you. So if I write the unique things that defines, let's say, Vishrut, will it be a whole lot of 5 pages that I write about Vishrut? And anybody who has these attributes will be called Vishrut. Will that be a true statement?
No.
Why?
Since many people might have the same type of things.
Many people may have exactly the same skill, same thing. There could be multiple people with exactly that, with those different attributes. That is one possibility. Another possibility is, even if you have exhausted everything and you are still alone, you are the only person. Okay. In this, let's say, on this planet, there are about 7.8 billion or close to 8 billion people. Okay. How do I point out to that one person of these and say, this is Vishrut?
Sir, biological bodies can DNA test.
DNA test. Shriyamsini is a very intelligent science student. I love that. So she says, there is a unique tag which is called the DNA sequencing for every human being. Every human being can be DNA tagged. That's a very true statement. In fact, every species can be DNA tagged. Every living thing can be DNA tagged. And the unique feature of that DNA tag, just like Vishrut's 5-page note that I am this, I like this, I don't like this, blah, blah, blah. I can write a one long DNA sequence of ATGC and then come up with that tag. Correct, no? Yeah. Do you like? Would you like to do some would you like to do some genetic engineering at some point, Shriyamsini?
Sir, I might go for biotechnology, but I'm into physics, sir.
You are into physics, so you want to do some physics modeling or this?
Yes, sir. BTech and MTech.
Okay, we will think about that when you get there. Let me know about it. There are lots of things you can do. Fine. Yes, Shriyan has raised his hand. What is it?
Sir, recently people found that they can make DNAs to their closest animal. Like suppose the dinosaur, sir, the chicken is the closest animal to the dinosaur. So
Correct.
the chicken, if they take the chicken DNA, they're almost able to make the dinosaur DNA, and they're able to like clone the dinosaurs.
Almost able to make a dinosaur DNA to making a dinosaur DNA are two different things.
Yes, sir.
That can be done even with fossils.
Yes, sir.
Right? To the contradiction in that statement is in the statement itself. From chicken, if I want to go to dinosaur, I should first know what the dinosaur DNA is going to look like.
Yes, sir.
That is just a transformation, right?
Yes, sir.
So, which means I already have a dinosaur DNA. All that I need to do is clone more DNAs of that. Why do I need to start with chicken? Your point is absolutely right. They are doing a very different experiment there. I'm trying to make that very clear to you. What they are doing is they are taking the chicken's DNA and trying to find out, can there be an evolution from the dinosaur to the chicken? The question they are asking is very different. Okay. So be very, very clear about it. They are not trying to replicate a dinosaur out of it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So Shriyamsini, yes, you are saying
Sir,
something.
I was about to tell the same thing.
Okay. Correct. So that is the way it is going. So nothing wrong with that. Just that they are doing a different, they're solving a different problem. So that is where, we get confused. It's very easy to get dragged into a lot of things and say, this is this, and create a false perspective about something else. That is true about ourselves also. As we just saw, we can create a full DNA sequence, but that is just a body sequence. If I create that body sequence, map it on and bring it on and say after 300 years, let's say somebody's DNA, let us say Vishnu DNA is saved somewhere, and I replicate that DNA and clone a Vishnu in say 300 years time. It is not necessary that Vishnu 2.0 or 3.0, whatever you want to call it, will necessarily not like bitter gourd. Can you guarantee that, that Vishnu will also not like bitter gourd? That Vishnu will also not like milk? That Vishnu will also like these sweets? You cannot guarantee that. That is the key difference between the material self and what is called the social self, or the self that is evolved out of the mind. Your social self comes because of your mind, your thought processes. Okay. One question to you. How many of you have ever constructed an aeroplane? Or you've constructed an aeroplane?
The
Yes.
prototype, sir, it was actually a school project once.
Okay. You have constructed an aeroplane.
Sir, I used waste materials, not any.
Very good. Very good. How big was your aeroplane? You are muted.
Sir, a carton size, like probably
Okay, fine. That was
around,
something
around probably a 25, not 25, 30 centimeter
30
into
centimeter.
something.
Okay. Vishwant has constructed an aeroplane.
That one is like it does not really fly, but I did it using my Lego kits together. And
You are done it. Okay. Okay. How many of you have fought with a lion? Nobody?
Sir,
Nobody has
encountered, sir, but not fought.
encountered a lion, as in you have seen a lion face to face. That's what you mean by encountered. You have not shot a lion. Okay. Fine. Okay. Shriyan, you have raised your hand.
Sir, I fought a normal dummy lion.
You have fought a normal dummy lion. Very good. Yes, that also counts. Very good. Fine. Now again, you can't. Now we are okay at this level. Probably we are intelligent enough to say, it is a dummy lion and not a real lion. Similarly, we are intelligent enough to say that it is not a real plane but a dummy plane that we have constructed. Correct?
Yes, sir.
What if I told you?
Sir, it was exactly not dummy, sir. It used to work, sir. It even had cameras which could actually work as an undercover.
Fair. But nobody could sit in it and go, no? Yeah. To that extent, I agree. Okay, it could be, let's call it a drone. You constructed a drone type of a plane. Fine. I'll give you that much. Yes, you have done so much. Now, what if I told you all of us are capable of constructing without even moving our hands, legs, anything? We are all capable of constructing aeroplanes, airfields, cities, and probably the entire planet, everything, just in a matter of few minutes or seconds. Would you all, how many would agree, how many would not agree? Yes, Vishnu, you want to say something?
Sir, it's very easy to construct all the things you told in your dreams, done in a few seconds.
In your dream, absolutely. Shriyan says no, it is not true. What happened, Shriyan? What happened?
Sir, I don't agree. I agree with Vishruth, but I
Huh.
don't agree in real life that we can build.
In
it.
real life, we cannot do it. Okay. Shriyamsini, what's your thought process?
Sir, a person can actually sit simply and ask other people to do it.
Sit simply and ask other people to do it, who will do it.
Sir, because businessmen, they have a lot of money, so just 400 billion crores or something, just give,
Okay.
build a
It's just,
city.
so with just 400 billion, you can, okay, if I have that much money, would I just be able to create it?
Yes, sir, but people need to work for it.
People need to work. Somebody needs to work. Okay.
Yes,
So
but
I'm not talking of somebody working. I'm talking only about ourselves. Me. Today's topic is only me.
sir,
I said only I can construct. We should give a good answer. He said we can construct it in our dream. Okay. Athar, you have to say something? No. Priya?
sir, it told in a minutes or a few seconds. So it can't be possible, even though 100 billion men work at like in minutes also it can be possible, but the cement will just fall.
Fair enough. No, I'm not talking of everybody else. I said I can construct myself. So Vishnu said yes, it is possible in our dream. Now, how many of you agree with Vishnu and how many of you disagree with Vishnu? Shriyamsini agrees, Atharv agrees, Shriyan agrees, Pranav agrees. Shraddha, what is your thought?
Sir, even I agree.
Even you agree. What about Neil? Neil also agrees. Okay, good. So, yes, it is a fact. Now, you tell me in your dream, if you have constructed that, is it something, how many of you think that is also real? Shriyan says, no, it is not real. Who else? Athar says it is not real. Okay. Vishruth himself says it is not real. Correct? It is not real. Okay. Shriyamsini?
Sir, I don't know, sir, but
She does
I
not,
think
she does not
it
want to answer.
might not be real. But
Okay.
there is something in me which says it might be.
It might be. Shraddha thinks it is not real. Shraddha, do you think it is not real or it is real?
Sir, I think it is not real.
It is not real. Okay.
No.
Let me now paraphrase that question a little. Okay. Let us say in your dream, we've all had dreams, no? Let us say it is not just a dream, but it's a little more than just a dream. It is, you are being chased by a lion. Possible? In the dream, it is possible, no? Anything is possible in the dream. You are being chased by a lion. Nobody, and you are not very confident of fighting the lion. So you are just running.
That is possible in real life also.
It's possible in real life also. I'm not saying no. For the time being, just assume it's in a dream. That did not happen in real life. I don't wish that to happen for anyone in real life. Okay, so let's assume that it's in a dream. Everybody has had some sort of a dream. Replace that lion with something else. Everybody has had this sort of a dream where you're in a very tough situation and you're running and you're doing something. You're very intensely involved in that dream. Right? Very intensely involved, very intensely trying to go from one place to the other, doing very lots of work. And suddenly somebody shouts, hey, get up, it's already 6 o'clock. You have to go to school. What happens at that point? Do you get up?
So the
Yeah.
dream breaks.
Dream breaks. But apart from that, what else has happened?
Sir, imagination.
Your imagination. What happens to your imagination? Forget
Sir,
your
it
imagination.
was like, okay, I was doing so much and you woke me up from my work.
You woke me up from my work. You were so involved in that work. If a lion was chasing you, probably you'll find a lot of sweat on your forehead, right? You'll actually find a lot of sweat. You'll actually be palpitating.
Sir, what is the meaning of palpitating?
When
Palpitating.
your heart suddenly stops beating, or when you get unconsciousness and you actually feel you want to puke, but you won't.
No, no, no. It is not so bad. So hang on there. So there are various levels. What Shriyamsri just described is the highest form of it, where it can actually lead to that. So palpitation starts with just your breath not being synchronized. Currently, you are having a very synchronized breathing, right? Rhythmic breathing. Your breathing alters. That's the symptom. And it has, as Shriyamsri said, it's related to the way your heart is functioning. There is elevated heartbeat. Yes, Neil, you are saying something? Okay. So your heartbeat could elevate or it could contract, because of which your breathing pattern changes, and that leads to a whole lot of things. The worst case scenario in palpitation is what Shriyamsri just described, where you could end up in a very, very bad situation. It's got to do with a lot with your breathing, rhythmic breathing being disturbed. Okay, there are multiple reasons why your rhythmic breathing can be disturbed. Okay, so we can wake up in such a state, right? And then what happens once you wake up?
Sir, I go back to sleep and start dreaming again, sir.
Will the same dream come again?
Yes, sir, for me it has come so many times.
So many times it has come.
It has continued. It will be to be continued. It will start continuing.
It will start continuing. Then probably nobody woke you up. You assume that somebody woke you up.
No, sir, I remember, sir. Someone woke me up. Then again I slept. Then again my dream continued.
You are not consciously awake, in which case that is fine. Yeah, it's possible. It's quite possible. Yeah, but how many have had this experience that you go back to sleep and the dream continues? Okay. Now, the question is, can you say that dream was unreal or you were not in that dream? If you were not in that dream, who was in that dream? Yes, Vishnut.
If we weren't in the dream, at least our inner soul would be.
Huh?
Sir, if we weren't in the dream, at least our inner self would be in it.
At least our inner self will be in it. That is, our mind is consistently active. There is a mind that is creating all these things and showing it as images to all of us. Correct? We have a huge set of dream world. Now, these dreams give us a lot of indications. This dream state has been deeply analyzed by our Indian philosophers and Indian psychologists and Indian scientists in a lot of ways. How much it impacts us? What are the things that are bringing these dreams? Why are they there? What is a dream? It is nothing but a reflection of something that has happened in our past, juxtaposed or rather projected onto something that we are imagining. True?
Sir, that means what we didn't do, that can't come in our dreams.
No, that is not true. That is not true. What cannot come in your dream is something that you have never experienced. For instance, in your dream, you will never have something like you experiencing gravity on Jupiter. Because you have never experienced gravity on Jupiter. That cannot happen. But then you being held by two hands and not being allowed to move forward on this planet Earth is very much possible. Even though nobody has done that to you, that's okay. Because you have at least seen somebody else go through it, or you have experienced it in some way or something like that. Right? Now that brings us to the second question. When that self, now this is your self, which, as I said, Vishnu said that it could be our inner self is active. No, it is not the inner self which is active. It is our social self which is active here. Why is it the social self? I just gave the answer. Why is it the social self which is active?
Sir, because we have already experienced it.
We have in some way or other, we have some feeling of it. Now, please note, it's also possible that what you see as a pattern in your dream is something that happens sometime in the future to you. It happens. That's possible. You experience that again sometime in the future. That's also that's a very common thing to happen. Okay. But those experience also is not something out of the blue. It is something that you have seen somewhere in the past, and that is replicating as a dream, and that is you might not have consciously experienced it in the past. You're consciously experiencing it in the future because your dream has something related to it. Okay. Now, the dream is something that brings about our social self, because when we are interacting with others is when we get to these aspects. We experience these aspects. Is that true? If we were all ourselves, if there was nothing else but our inner self alone, and I was interacting only with my inner self, then I would never have experienced an aeroplane. If I had not seen an aeroplane, at least in a TV, I would never experience an aeroplane. If you went, say, in time before, say, Charles Babbage, who first invented a computer, do you think Charles Babbage would have had a dream of a laptop or a mobile phone? He could never. But he could have imagined, he could have had a dream where it would say, you know, there is so much of thing that has happened in the future. That is possible because you would have imagined something around that. But an exact mobile phone he holding or something like that is not possible, right? So he would have, there are two concepts. There is this whole social interaction that we always keep doing with the external world. Yes, Vishnu.
Sir, but dreams can lead to the discovery of a new thing. Like one scientist who discovered the structure of carbon, once in a dream, he believed that a snake was trying to bite its own tail, and after a few years, he found out the structure of carbon after the dream.
You are telling the story of Kekule.
Yes, sir.
Benzene. That's how the structure of benzene was discovered. Absolutely right. Very good. But then what you should know is, first, he had seen snakes. Second, he knew how carbon interacts with each other. He knew that hydrocarbons, there was exactly going to be, the structure of carbon was the structure of benzene was not known, but the combination of benzene was very much known. It was 6 moles of carbon with 6 moles of hydrogen. That was very clearly in his head. Till that time, they were only trying to draw straight structures. Right? Now, he had seen snakes, he had seen that it could be circular, and that somewhere in his dream came through, you know what, it could be like this. And then he elaborated on it. Correct now, Vishwat? That is the way it works. It is true. As I said, a future event need not be this one. It's an extension of it. But how far you go into the future is dependent on how much you have in the past. Is that true? Right. So there is this external world. So how many of you like nightmares? You like nightmares? Shriyantini says she loves nightmares. What do you mean by nightmare?
It's like a dream which has very bad things happening. There's a bad guy, and there's a ghost, and there's a vampire, a zombie, or something like that.
Okay, so you love a lot of horror movies. Very good. Okay. Vishnu says he loves it. He loves such things. True? Okay. So that brings me to this question. Everybody else, I'm assuming, don't like nightmares. They prefer, normal good things happening to them. Is that true? Anybody else who wants to second Shriyam City and Vishruth?
Sir, a little bit.
Huh?
A little bit.
You? Little bit. Okay. So there's a whole, now he's saying, you know what? Atham is adding, qualifying it. He's saying, you know what? It is not just about ghosts and some bad things and all. Maybe there is a variant of it which I will probably like it a little bit.
Sir, because like sometimes in my nightmares it starts with good and then goes to bad. And then
It goes to bad. So he says, you know what? I'll get a little bit of bitterness into my this. So that's exactly like saying, there is bitter gourd, but I don't like bitter gourd, or I like bitter gourd. Okay. So dream is a concept which is dependent on a social surrounding and socially how we behave with the social surrounding. So that should actually make us introspect quite a bit. How should our social self be? How many of you believe that you'll necessarily get what you wish for? Shriyamchini believes that. Who else believes that? Nobody else? If you wish for something, you will get it. How many of you think that is true? Everybody has had a very huge disappointment. Athar, tell me a disappointment you have had, man.
I wished for some like remote control cars or like some Christmas, but I didn't.
It did not come to you.
Not for Christmas, but like somewhere I forgot where I wished it, but I wish it didn't show.
Okay, you wished for that.
Sir, I do know, like, if we wish it doesn't happen right then and there, but it does happen after even a long span of time.
Yes. So Shriyamsini has come up with a lot of wise idea now.
Sir,
He says,
because when I was in UKG and that magnet thing that when we used to keep a North Pole and a North Pole, it used to move away. I thought there is magic, but under every magic, there is something to do with it that works in the concept of magic. So that's when I want to find that out, and I found that out only when I reached 5th.
When you reach 5th standard, some teacher told you, this is how it works. Fair enough. I agree. So, okay. So let me add that what Shriyamsini says is actually right. Shraddha, do you agree about with Shriyamsini?
Yes, sir.
So whatever you wish for will come true. However, the qualification is that it will not come true when you want it to come true. That choice you don't have. So if you want to wish, in which case you have to work towards it. Just wishing for something will not happen. What will happen in which case is, yes, it will come true, but it will not come true the way you want it to come true. In our example, she said, there is a magnet. I want to know why it is not moving away. She got to know it only in 5th standard. If she had asked 5 people around at that point in time and put a lot of effort, probably she would have got to know it at that time also. Or she wouldn't have understood the concept. That's also a possibility. But there was nothing much about it. But when you want to do it, you need to do that. The hard work part is still within you. You cannot wish away with hard work. Yes, Athar?
Sir, I have to go now. I want.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. We'll close it anyways. In another 2 minutes, we'll close. Yes. Go ahead. So that is a fact. Yes, Neil.
Sir, I'm feeling sleepy and I have to go
Yeah,
to sleep.
please. Yeah, you are already at 11:45. Sure.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah. So fine, we are going to close here. So the point is very simple, that we are going to have a surrounding, and that interaction with the surrounding is a very important concept, and that decides how our future is going to be. True? That is our social self. Anybody who disagrees with this? No? So we will see the concept of what this surrounding is, how the surrounding is structured, and how should we interact with this surrounding. This brings us to the very important concept called dharma and adharma. How you interact with the external surrounding, the social self. Your whole social self is surrounded by this concept and framework called dharma, and whatever is outside that framework is, yes, somebody, yeah, you can, adharma. So we'll understand this concept in detail going forward in the next class. Okay. Okay, we'll take up some shlokas and from there we'll understand all these things. Pooja madam may do some activity, some more activity like this, with which she can be explaining it better. We will take them up. All right. Okay. Any questions? Anything you have? Yes, Shriyam.
Sir, next class, which is the Friday, I will not be able to attend, sir. I'll be traveling, so please
Have a
excuse.
nice travel. Fine.